Hello, I'm Casey,
And I'm Mackenzie,
and this is Field Notes from the Unknown.
a podcast about your favorite local cryptid. All right, so today we're learning about a new, fun, fantastic cryptid.
Ooh.
I want you to, let's do a little kind of,
Are you going
put
to set the
ourselves-
scene for me?
yeah,
Love
a
it.
little scene. Okay, so picture it.
Okay.
The 1700s.
Yes.
You're in some kind of cute, probably like prairie maid outfit, something like that. You're in the fields, well, the mountain hills and laurels of Western Maryland.
Ooh, okay.
All right.
Okay.
You're walking around. You're maybe going to close the barn doors to keep the cows in at night or something. I don't know. You're out and about, and you hear this crazy sound coming from the woods. Caw! Okay, not really a caw.
Wild.
But actually, this is actually more wild. You hear the metallic sound of a steam locomotive train engine whistle. And then you see coming over you from the mountains this big creature with the wings of a bat, the body of a reptile, one singular cyclops-like eye in the middle of its forehead, a metallic beak, armor-plated feathers, and tentacles.
Okay. And it sounds like a train?
Correct. How would you feel?
I would think this is something that my nephew drew me
Honestly, yes.
from like his nightmares.
So this is, in fact, a creature of nightmares. It's called the Snallygaster.
Snallygaster.
Have you heard of it?
No, but it sounds like a bad word.
It doesn't. It's a Snallygaster. So it is this terrifying, toothsome creature that lurks in the wild mountain passes of Western Maryland and Southern Pennsylvania.
Oh.
Right?
I've never heard of.
Isn't it fascinating?
And people have seen this?
People have seen this. Yes.
I would love to hear if anyone has seen this.
So all the reports that I have found are between the 1700s, the way through the mid-1900s. So I've heard of no recent reports. But again,
She just went
listeners,
into the hills.
We
And
should go.
we should go.
It's not that far from us.
It's not.
A little gallivanting trip.
Could we open something like a portal that has been shut and bring the Snallygaster back?
What are we, a squoink?
Right.
Harkening back to our first episode. If you haven't heard it, please go back to episode 1.
Yeah, and learn all about this coin.
Give us a little listen. So this is a chimera creature made up of a bird and almost like a dragon with that one singular eye. And by the way, the eye glows
Okay.
like an ambery orange glow. Has its own light that it emits.
So, hold on.
Yeah.
We have a bat,
Bat wings,
a dragon,
dragon scales, feathery
tentacles.
from its mouth. Yeah.
What kind of, does it have like a bird feet?
So it has bird feet, but its talons are metal.
Okay.
Yeah.
And tentacles coming out of its mouth.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just gonna roll with it. It's thought to be an American variant on the dragon. So it really came out of the Pennsylvania Dutch Germanic people that emigrated over to that specific part of what are actually the Appalachian Mountains in the early 1700s. So, yeah, right.
You.
Oh, I also failed to mention the razor sharp talons are made of metal, but not only metal, but hot glowing metal.
So the eye glows and the talon glow.
Correct. Multiple sources of glowing light here in the Snallygaster.
What? Why does it sound like a train?
So we'll get to that. We'll get to
Okay.
some theories into why
Okay.
that might be. And then just to give you an idea, size-wise, estimations vary on the size, but we're looking at a wingspan between 10 feet and 25 feet.
Okay.
So a big bird thing to a gigantic, really big-ass bird thing. Yes. Stick with me.
I'm sticking. I'm here.
Legend has it that Snallygasters live for up to 25 years and produce broods of eggs in mountain caves in Western Maryland. Weirdly, the eggs are also thought to incubate for between 20 to 25 years as well. So I assume you lay one batch of eggs, you live your life, and then you die, and the new eggs hatch or something. But it would suggest that there is, in fact, a breeding population living in the mountains.
Okay. So there's a breeding population currently living in the mountains.
Yes.
Supposedly.
Supposedly. Again, this would suggest it is a corporeal creature, not a spirit entity. Your face. I wish we had a video media.
So I'm thinking like it was like a throuple between like a bat, a dragon, and all of this, and like this is their offspring.
Weirder things have happened, and I think I read about some of them in some of those like smutty like monster books.
I think you're probably right.
Can I say this on the podcast?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know if we should be worried. Like, this is the second episode, and we again brought up our monster smut book, but that's fine.
Look forward to our Patreon.
I'd read it anyway.
Yeah. So the Snallygaster. So the name Snallygaster actually comes from a German word, actually two words, Snallergeist, which means quick spirit. So it was named after, the winged creature flitting quickly around all the hollers and now the mountains. So it's in fact a German root. It's also called a couple of different names throughout the lore, some of which include the Bovalopus and the New Jersey Devil. I know.
I've heard about the Jersey Devil,
Mm-hmm.
but not the Bobaloptus.
Bovalopus.
Bobalopus. Bobaloptus.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Does it also have one on?
It does.
The Loctus? Made me think of Cyclops.
It is very evocative of Cyclops. And actually, so some of the references that I saw, this specific time period, a lot of other cryptids in the world were thought to have a single eye. And I think it goes back to how oral traditions of stories spread, and we assign these characteristics of certain cryptids based upon what we're hearing. So
it's just like a game of telephone.
Kind of, yeah.
Oh.
And actually, I think of any cryptid I've read about before, the Snallygaster is especially indicative of this specific like oral tradition of telephone, because it evolves into a bunch of other really weird kind of forms. So a couple other ways it's been described as a half bird, half wildcat with brown and yellow stripes. It's also been described as a sable-eyed muskrat with markings like a tuxedo cat.
I think you in.
I know. You kind of want to get a little scritchy, right?
Yeah.
With its little metallic talons.
Lay out feed for it.
Aww. So I think it's kind of fascinating that it has throughout time evolved in such very different ways, but we all call it the Snallygaster.
Snallygaster. So does the Snallygaster, is it threatening? Does it kidnap children? I feel like it should.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I think children should get kidnapped.
It absolutely does. It totally does. So the first reports came out of an area known as South Mountain, which is an extension.
The South Mountain area.
Really? Wait, why? How do you know it?
I used to live in Chambersburg, which is not far from the South Mountain area.
Yeah, so South Mountains. So it's an extension of the Blue Ridge Mountains, in my understanding, and fact check me if this is wrong, and also part of the greater Appalachian range.
Mm-hmm. So
South Mountain has about 70 miles of wilderness area. So conceivably, it could, in fact, conceal a cryptid. Now, granted, this specific cryptid I feel like would be challenging to conceal.
Well, no. Yes and no. One, I feel like with all of its things, and if it lives in caves, if it hatches its eggs in caves, obviously she has to have a spot.
Absolutely.
Like a nest.
Our girl.
And, right?
The Snallygaster.
And if she's quick, then she would be quick to hide.
That's a really good point. So this is probably why there's been few modern reports, because over time they probably learned how to hide even better.
Yeah.
I like this. So one of the most violent reports of the Snallygaster, you asked about if it's fearsome or not. In 1909, there was a report that a Snallygaster killed a Middletown man, sucked out his blood, and threw his body over a cliff. So she has a flair for dramatics.
She. Yeah.
Yep.
I wonder what he did.
So following reports from that year describe the townspeople of Middleton being terrorized by a creature with enormous wings, a long pointed bill, claws like steel hooks, and an eye in the center of its forehead. It's kind of like
I mean, what'd they do? Like, if
run.
he's terrorizing this whole town, I don't think it's a her problem. I think it's a them problem. You guys did something to...
You moved into her space. She was there before you.
Territorial.
You give her some space.
Yeah.
Girl's gonna girl. Let her raise her horrifying brood of monsters in peace. My God.
It's just like these people going to state parks and feeding bears. You know, if you get attacked by a bear, I'm sorry if that's on you.
Yeah, that's
You're
the bear having
space.
dinner.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a bear attack, it's bear dinner.
Yeah.
Don't pet grizzly bears.
Don't pet them.
I want to pet them, to be fair, but I would accept my
don't
death.
Pet them. Don't pet them.
In case I'm going to pet them.
It's like Harambe. Oh, R.I.P.
Things actually got so bad in the 1900s that allegedly the Smithsonian Institute put out a reward for anyone brave enough to bring in the pelt of a Snallygaster.
Ooh.
I know. Right?
That's interesting.
Even cooler, at the time, Teddy Roosevelt was currently president, and story is that he actually delayed a safari excursion to Africa to take a battalion of men into the mountains of Maryland to hunt the creature, but was unsuccessful.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like this is somewhere, like the pelt's probably in someone's attic in a trunk that they haven't opened for years. And unfortunately, someone's, grandmother, grandfather, great uncle is going to pass.
Mm-hmm.
And this Snallygaster pelt's going to be found.
And people are going to open it up and be horrified.
Yeah, and they're going to be like, what is this?
What is this weird armor plate feather bullshit?
Dang. Do we really know Great Aunt Murda?
Great Aunt Murda. I'm telling you right now, this story, we've even gotten to the weird part of the story. It gets weirder.
What?
It gets weirder.
To me, it was weird when she had tentacles coming out of her mouth. I still don't...
I know. This tentacle thing is a struggle for me as well. I saw a couple references to this in the media that I used for this episode, say links below. But some people believe that Snallygaster was, in fact, stick with me here, the ghost of a Civil War soldier. That's all I got. There's
the ghost of a Civil War soldier.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But okay.
Uh-huh. Yep. So I don't think that's really the truth. I think it came about at the time when there were, tensions between Confederate soldiers and Union soldiers during the Civil War period, and this was a story that was put up.
Hear me out.
Okay.
The Snallygaster is actually a military created combat fighting thing.
You got it.
For the Civil War.
We cracked it.
The
it was
military
like the 8 men before we had 8 men.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because supposedly Hitler created
an army of 8 men.
Yes.
And then people think that we'll talk about this later, I'm sure, but the Dyatlov Pass incident?
Yeah, that was all covered up.
Russian technology, or like a Russian 8 men.
Yes.
Or both. It's absolutely possible.
Yeah.
So I really do think that she is corporeal, and she was a living creature, because according to the Hagerstown Morning Herald, she was in fact killed off at some point.
So someone has her pelt in a trunk.
Well, you would think this, but so to quote the Herald, Bovolopis died by the same hand that caused existence. The newspaper reported that the creature drowned in a large vat of moonshine. Allegedly 2,500 gallons of moonshine, located in a gigantic still near the town of Frog Hollow.
I like the name. So it drowned in a big batch of moonshine.
Correct.
Should I bring this into our mage game?
I think you should. Wait, that's a great idea.
Right?
I didn't-
Ooh, I gotta talk to. I gotta talk more. Yeah.
I know. And you would think, is there a body from that experience, right?
Well, there has to be bones, right? One would think.
Well, you would think that, however, locals claimed that the alcohol actually dissolved the creature's flesh down to its bones before authorities could get there to substantiate the claims.
It's just like the squonk. These things like to dissolve and to.
And then the bones were dynamited.
They turned the bones into that?
No, they just blew the bones up.
Why would they do that?
No one knows. No one knows. I told you, this story gets weird.
I like it.
It's super weird. And it's possible. So these stories are around the time of Prohibition. So some people
Born.
Yeah, and people hypothesized that the sound of the Snallygaster, with those metallic ringing sounds,
Mhm.
it was meant to deter revenue agents from going up into the hills and discovering moonshiners.
Crystals.
Yeah.
Oh.
So what a better way to cover up the sounds and the smells of the distillery.
It's just like that movie called The Village.
Isn't that a book?
It might be.
Okay.
But it's where, like, there's a monster outside of the village
Mhm.
and you can't go out there.
The M. Night Shyamalan one.
Yes.
Yeah.
The town
Shyamalan.
created their own monster.
Yes. It's the Snallygaster.
Wow.
She exists.
That's amazing.
I know. This is a great story.
I like this one. Yeah.
It's good. It's really good. So there's a lot of fear surrounding the
I
Snallygaster.
understand.
I mean, again, this crazy. Also, I think in some stories, she breathes fire like a traditional dragon
With the tentacle?
with the tentacles. It
It
doesn't
would
have
make
to.
more sense if, like, she would just do, like, a giant ink block.
That'd be cute.
Like Inky and Mario. Yeah. Like, bleh.
Ink blood everywhere.
On fire. Okay.
So there's one cool thing that you're going to see if you're traveling around this area of Maryland. You'll see a lot of 7-pointed stars painted on stuff. So legend has it that people painted on 7-pointed stars, which are called heptalphas, to ward off the Snallygaster specifically. Isn't that fascinating?
Oh, Marin's like, nah. Why doesn't she like the 7-pointed stars? Like, is it like a protective star?
So allegedly, each of the points has a specific, it signifies something, and the combination of those things is what scares her. And so I actually wrote down from Michael Poinder, who wrote The Lost Magic of Christianity, Celtic Essene Connections. He explained the different points and why it would frighten off a mystical creature. So it's 7 gifts of the spirit, or 7 seals of chakras, or 7 days of the week. It's also 7 sacred planets. Signifies the incarnation of the spirit, 3 the Trinity, into matter, 4 the elements. 7 is the number of the earth, revivified by divine current of life.
Okay.
So it's like all the goodness of the 7-pointed star against the Snallygaster. I don't think she's evil, but they
I
certainly
don't think
seem to.
she's evil either. I think this town did something to piss her off. Again, she marked her territory. They're like, as, white folk do, they just take land.
Absolutely.
I don't know if I should say that, but
No, you absolutely can, because we have to get into a more challenging truth, the Snallygaster. But
Okay.
before we do that, I want to tell you about one other traditional method of warding off the creature. So another lore around her is that to appease Snallygaster, to have her not take your children, chickens, goats, and small pigs, they would put offerings of wheat bread slathered in at least an inch of apple butter on posts, fence posts.
Ah,
I too would be appeased
maybe
by such
she's
offering.
just hangry.
Honestly, girl, I would go for some apple butter right now.
I would, yeah. But speaking of the bread, so
Wait,
yeah, I have a theory. What if this whole town just had a really bad batch of like bread
Mhm.
and it was like toxic and it was messing with their brains?
Oh yeah,
Like
the
the
Salem
girl-
witch trials.
Yes, who hallucinated in the Salem witch trials.
Yeah, it's possible.
I still like the moonshine idea where they just created this monster. She's not a monster.
She's just our girl.
Yeah,
She's
a
a big
girl.
mama. She has her brood of eggs.
Yeah.
She's got to protect those eggs.
I'd like to have her as a host.
Yeah, but she'd be a consummate host. The Snallygaster. It is okay. So this is where we have to get into the less fun aspect of this cryptid.
Okay.
So we mentioned white people.
Yeah.
So there is a nuance, and it would be unfair and disingenuous to discuss the Snallygaster without touching on the socio-political undercurrents of the time. So the darker side of this myth was that it was in fact co-opted by racists in Western Maryland who were upset that because of the influx of freed persons who were previously enslaved after the Civil War, Frederick and Washington counties, which were in that kind of region, were traditionally conservative. And then they went to the liberal side and elected the liberal candidate for the election in 1908.
Okay.
So it was a backlash. So due to anger over those changing demographics, an incendiary newspaper called the Middleton Valley Register published an article in 1909. That article stated that the Snallygaster had a preference for consuming people of color and those who vote Democrat.
Okay.
I know.
So it's just...
So they co-opted a story of a creature to then basically create a smear campaign and try to keep down African Americans and keep them from being in the public sphere, especially at night, and to, in their minds, sow the seeds for them to leave the region.
Well, if I was a Snallygaster, this would exactly be why I would kill a man and suck out his blood.
Absolutely. And it was not successful. This campaign went on of lambasting and trying to scare people. It wasn't successful. And to reestablish some faith in humanity, a lot of readers objected to this portrayal. To quote one man, anything that may have the effect of creating fear in the heart of any man, be he white or black, in my humble opinion, should be condemned. So thank you, R. Austenstein, who stood up to racists.
Yeah.
Because fuck those guys.
Literally, fuck those guys.
Yeah.
And this is probably why she's like, fuck this town. You're smearing my name. You know?
She wouldn't stand for that kind of bullshit.
She wouldn't stand for that.
She's an upstanding, wonderful, and
she wants to have her eggs. That's all she wants to do.
Yeah.
And maybe terrorize some white men.
Yeah, don't bring
Who doesn't like to terrorize some white men every now and then?
Amen, sister. Amen. So this was kind of all brought to light by a journalist, Julie Sharper, who is from the Baltimore Banner. And she flushed out this history. And then her takeaway was that the real monster in America is, in fact, racism, not the Snallygaster.
As it always is.
Yes. So I think that's a really good takeaway from that segment.
That is a very good takeaway.
If you wanted to learn more about the Snallygaster, there is, in fact, a museum dedicated to her. Isn't that cool?
Sounds like a trip.
Trip. It's called the American Snallygaster Museum. I know. So go to snallygastermuseum.com to learn more.
Ooh.
It is owned by a Miss Sarah Cooper, who by day is a traveling ER nurse and by night is a cryptid fanatic.
Go Sarah.
Yeah, we love that. Get that back, queen.
Yeah.
Go off. But the museum is located in Libertytown, Maryland. So I think we need to take a little road trip.
We absolutely need to take a little road trip.
See us there, 2026.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love that. Well, that was a really interesting story. I still don't understand why she has tentacles, though.
There are some things we're just never going to find out.
We're never going to find out.
Mm-hmm.
I like it, though.
I found it fascinating. I knew a bit about Snallygaster, but after researching, I found out so many interesting stories.
I have never heard about the Snallygaster. Definitely want to go to that museum, though.
Absolutely.
Ooh, I wish they had a Snallygaster festival. I think each cryptid should have their own festival.
Absolutely. There is a brewery fest called the Snallygaster Brewery Festival. So it's focused more around the beer aspect of it, but she is named.
She's named.
Apparently there's also an ice cream company that has a Snallygaster ice cream flavor. Maryland people, please write in if you've tried the Snallygaster flavor.
Yeah.
I don't know what that entails. Hopefully not flavored like a reptile
Hopefully not. It's
with
like
bat wings.
wow. A little crunchy though. It's got to be something.
A little crunch, a little
Yeah.
textured something,
Little
something.
crunch.
Yeah, something fun.
Mm.
So to close off this segment, I just want to give you a little short story from a kid whose grandmother was from this area of Maryland. And allegedly, this is a story that Miss Cooper herself imparted to the Atlas Obscura when she was doing an article about her museum. The local said, "My grandpa would tell me how it would hide in a porta potty and bite you on the butt."
That's why I don't use porta-potty. I'm sorry, that might have been a little loud, but like I had this fear that something's gonna come up in the porta-potty and bite me. All along, it's the Snallygaster.
Snallygaster. There she is.
I refuse. I'd rather go peanut butter
I would rather
than use
hold
a
it
porta-potty.
for hours.
Yeah. And it just, you know.
Yes. Porta potty Snallygasters. All right, folks. So that's all we got today for the Snallygaster. Like always,
Write in your field notes if you have any comments, questions, concerns.
recommendations for your favorite local cryptid. We'd love to cover her.
Or them.
That's true. We shouldn't put them in boxes.
Yeah, we should not put pronouns on the cryptid.
We tote to our inclusive queens.
Yes, very much so. All right, everyone. That is it for today's episode. Come back next week.
Thank you. Bye.